Hello, hello. Okay, just getting set up here. If anybody is here, if you can let me know that you can hear me, see me, any of that fun stuff. Hello, Casey. East Tennessee. Oh, nice. Love Tennessee. Can you hear me? It's amazing. We never know that. Wonderful. Okay. Now I'm just getting some supplies together. And I had put a poll up on the community tab because I really had no idea what I wanted to do today. Yeah. No idea. Did you ever have, you walk into your room, you're like, what do I want to do? I'm sure you don't tap the tip fingers like I do. But, oh good, I'm glad it's a beautiful day today. Yes, we are having a beautiful day as well. I am in eastern Pennsylvania. I am outside of Philadelphia to the west. And the sun is out. And it is a beautiful day. So I had put a poll up to ask, what would you guys like to see? I'm going to drop something purposely here, so you might hear a thud. There's that thud. And I had like 4 choices there. One of them was not die cutting. I'm just saying. Hello, Jean. How are you doing? And that's from Wisconsin. Okay. So I had ephemera, watercolor, colored pencils, and backgrounds. And colored pencils and backgrounds were at a tie. And why not? Okay, we're going to do that. So we are going to have some fun with our inks. I'm going to be using my Distress Oxides. And, oh no, Jean, I'm so sorry you're expecting more rain. Oh. We actually have the sun. We actually are not scheduled to have any rain this weekend, which is surprising because, I mean, we have been more fortunate, definitely more fortunate than others. But we just have been inundated with rain. I'm constantly checking my basement. So we had a tie with those 2 things. And let's see if we can't combine them. Let's have some fun. So I'm pulling in my silicone craft mat, and I'm going to tape it down, because if I don't, it'll just slide all over the place. And as I stretch, if you see a bruise on my arm, I'm okay. Please, no one worry. It's just... I'm ready to build a boat. Jean, yes. Yes. I think, I forget what month, what was it? Was it March? Well, ever since, I think it was March, February, and all of that, we've gotten like tons of rain every weekend. I think we are close to 18 inches of rain now. So I think we're just starting to dry out. It's amazing. But yeah, I'm going to be using some mixed media paper. It's Canson XL mixed media paper because we're going to be dealing with a lot of water. And whenever you're dealing with a lot of water, you know, I've got my spray bottle here. You want a paper that will work well with water. Now, I don't suggest 100% cotton paper because that's expensive. But you want like a mixed media, a Bristol, the Canson XL watercolor paper is good. You just want something that's going to take that. I would not use a regular cardstock because it will really, it'll actually warp, and the more water you put on it, it'll actually disintegrate when it comes to that. But you can do it on some applications. So keep that in mind, some applications. What I'm going to start out with is ink smooshing. We're going to do some ink smooshing. I love ink smooshing. I could do ink smooshing all day. Yeah, I find a lot of things therapeutic, but I just find making these backgrounds, mixing up colors and having fun with them, and all of that, just very, very relaxing. Now, unfortunately, we are going to hear my heat tool so that I can dry them. So sorry about that. I don't know how to get around that. Maybe we won't have to put so much water on that. But ink smooshing. So there's two different surfaces that you can ink smoosh on. I mean, you can ink smoosh on any surface. It can be glass. It can be this, you know, this grid mat that I have underneath it. And it can be a silicone mat. I like to use a silicone mat, and I'll show you why. So here I have, I can grab it without making things. So here's a glass mat. If I take my oxides, and I'm just going to pounce them right on to the two surfaces, and I'm going to spray some water. So you'll see if I spray when I spray the glass, they kind of start molding together. They kind of move, they shift. It's like watercolors. It's a beautiful effect. Here, when I start spraying on the silicone mat, it beads up. It doesn't swoosh like this is swooshing. This, it gives you beads. So if I take a piece of my Canson, the mixed media paper, and I go down, and whenever I do this, I go down and I come straight back up. So down, press, up. You can see I get all of those bubbles and spots, speckles. I like that look. It's not for everybody. Now, if I take another piece and if I go down onto the glass mat, again, down, press, come up, I get a more watercolor effect. It's not, I don't have many specks as I did on the other page. It kind of just, it really molds together. So you're going to get two different looks depending upon the surface that you're using. And again, it's just personal preference when it comes to the surface and what you're going for. You like the bubbles? I do too, Jean. I like the bubbles. I think the bubbles are cool. So now I'm going to take, I have a piece of paper towel here. I'm going to put that up on my glass surface. I'm going to rub that. And I'm going to pick that up. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Because I can save this ink, I didn't want to keep using the papers that I pulled. So I can keep building on this. And you can use this too. So it comes out really cool. So I'll show you at the end when it comes to what that looks like. So now I'm just going to take the rest, and then I'll just wipe that off a little bit there. So I'm not going to use the glass. I'm going to set that back aside here gingerly. Very gingerly. It's a wonderful surface. There we go. Okay. I also like to play with colors. Now, here's the beauty, and we're going to use both of these. We're going to keep building off of them. Now, you can do this technique, too, with any type of water-reactive ink. So, your dye inks you can use as well. It's just got to be water-reactive. So, I know the Simon Says Positively inks are water-reactive. The Catherine Polar inks are water reactive. The oxides, the regular Distress, the original inks are water reactive. I believe the Altenews are as well. The Altenew dye inks. And I know the Stampin' Up inks are. So there's a lot of dye inks out there that are water reactive that you can do this technique with. One of the things, though, that I do like about the oxides, now, not everybody likes the oxides, and that's usually because of the chalkiness that you get. Okay, Jean, Simon Hurley's are as well. Yes, yes, I've seen him do those. I love watching him. Not everyone likes the oxides because they have that chalky film, because it's oxidizing as it goes through. I like that. I mean, again, I'm different when it comes to that. But what I do also like about the oxides is you can layer them. So we always talk about, you don't want to mix a yellow and a purple because you're going to get mud. A red and a green, you're going to get mud. The blue and an orange, you're going to get mud. Now, how do you know that? And that's from our color wheel. So we have those awesome color wheels that we always create. I'm going to try to grab mine. So excuse if I shake the table, if you're just seeing my horrible stretch. I highly recommend anyone to create a color wheel. Now, this is done with watercolors. You don't have to do watercolors. You can use crayons, you can use alcohol markers, you can use colored pencils, whatever you have to get the concept and the idea of a color wheel. Remember, your primaries are your red, your blue, and your yellow. And then your secondaries are when you mix any two of these colors. Because if you mix any of these colors together, you're going to get a secondary color. Red and yellow will give you orange. Blue and yellow will give you green. Blue and red will give you purple. And then you take the purple and mix it with the red. You take the purple, mix it with the blue. And now you've got your third level, your tertiary. And what we're looking for is the primary and the secondaries. So here's our blue primary to our secondary orange. So they're opposite. They are direct opposites on the color wheel. When you mix any of those two colors, you're going to get what we call mud. It's just a deeper, darker shade. Hello, Cordelia. How are you doing? Oh, I'm so glad you got your stamp set. Yay! I hope you enjoy it. So that's just a very quick overview of color theory. I mean, we could talk about a color wheel for hours and create a color wheel. It's fun. It's absolutely fun. But we can do that with oxides. Here's your key. Dry in between your layers. Just make sure it's dry. That's all you have to do. Just dry between your layers. So now that I've gabbed, as long as I've gabbed, I don't have to use my heat tool to dry these. So I'm going to set that one aside. And let's see. I used Festive Berries on that. Let's pull in Scattered Straw next. So again, I'm just going to pounce. You can twist, you can get your color down any way you want onto your surface. I'm going to add some water. Now, the more water you add at this stage, the more lighter the color is going to be and the more watercolor-ish it's going to look like. The more water you add, you won't get as many dots or bubbles like you see here. Because they'll be bigger. Those droplets are going to get larger and larger. So I kind of hit a medium. When I see them get to a certain size, that's when I stop. And I never, you know, full bore with that sprayer. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my hand, I'm going to go down, press, up. So it's down and up. And you can see we have that second layer that's now sitting on this. And we're going to set that one aside to dry. I'm going to bring in this one. Down, press, up. And now I've got some of the beebly bops going on that one. So we're going to continue to build on these two. I'm going to bring in my paper towel. I'm just going to press down. This is also picking up all the water. And that's what that's looking like so far. So it looks kind of cool. It'll start looking cool, I promise. Okay. So now I am going to come in. I'm going to turn this on. I want you guys to let me know, okay, this is just blowing you all, no pun intended. This is just taking you all out of the water with this sound, because if I have to, I'll change it. I'll change out and get another tool that I can use to dry these with. Maybe if I do this. All right. I hope I didn't blow out your ears. I kind of turned away from the camera. I mean, I still have some water on these, but that's okay. Because we're going to continue to build on these two. Cordelia, like I was saying to everybody else, I had put a poll up of what everyone would like to see, because I had no idea what I wanted to do. And two of the choices, backgrounds and colored pencils, are at a tie. So we're going to see if we can combine these two concepts together. Let's see, what color do I want to add next? I do like aged mahogany. So I think with this color scheme, I'm going to continue to add aged mahogany. I'm not going to add my favorite. My favorite color out of the whole Distress line is Uncharted Mariner. Oh, and second is Villainous Potion. Those are the top two. I mean, they're like close to a tie, but Uncharted Mariner just edges that purple out just a little bit. And I love purple. I am so purple. But that Uncharted Mariner is just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Let's see here. I'm going to go with the aged mahogany. And then we're going to see what next color, what other color we're going to add. I may go into a brown. And it may not be vintage photo. Miracles can happen. Okay. Oh, thank you, Cordelia. They are. They're kind of working together, and you can see these kind of, you know, melded together just a little bit, and that's okay. I still have some puddles. How do I get rid of the puddles? I do not like lifting. You know, we see a lot of people that blend, you know, they do their ink blending and it looks, you know, they did a perfect job with the blending and then they spritz it and then they come in and lift it. I'm not one that likes to do that because I like the way the colors look when they dry naturally. You get those hard edges, those droplet edges. You get that difference. Now, when I'm in a hurry, then I'll start lifting. I'll start lifting it, but this is not ready to lift yet. Because see, I don't know if you can see, it's starting to form those hard edges with the yellow. So it's almost like it's pushing that pink reddish away. And I just really, really like that. And I don't want to lose that effect. This one here, I'm just going to let dry again. So I'm going to get my surface ready for that. Salty Ocean. I like that color too. You know, I'm really surprised. You know, I look at Salty Ocean and I look at Mermaid Lagoon. And for some reason, I look at those two colors and they're so close. But again, I love his whole line. I love all the colors. All right, so let me get this one to this side and this one to this side. And again, I'm just gonna put some colors down, just lightly tapping, just keeping an eye that, okay, my paper is this size so that it can get to where it needs to. Again, as I add the water, I'm not pressing all the way down. I'm just lightly tapping on my water bottle to get the size. And again, I'm looking for a certain size of a droplet, which is like maybe 1/8 of an inch in diameter, if that makes sense. Hello, Crafting Fun. How are you? I couldn't pronounce the first one. I would have made a boo-boo on that, so I didn't attempt it. All right, so same thing. We're going to put our hand on the back. I'm going to real quick look at this, though. I'm going to hit this with my heat tool, so I'm going to turn away. There we go. Same thing. And again, it's going to warp. Your paper is going to warp. Whether this is 80 pounds, 140 pounds, 200 pounds, your paper will warp with the number of times you're going to do this. Because again, we're constantly putting water on this. So I just roll it just to get it to some type of shape. I'm going to put my hand on it. I'm going to go straight down and I'm going to come back up. And now we just have these specks. All right, we're going to set that one aside. And we're going to come in with this one. We're going to do the same thing. Down, up. Now this is going to blend more. I kept more of the water there, but you can see this is just starting to fill up. I think the last color that I'm going to add to this is a green. Again, I'm going to come in with my paper towel and just blot it up. That's what that's looking. And then, here we go. I'm just going to wipe the balance away. So a green, a green, a green, a green, green, green. Do I want peel paint? I know I don't want that one. Or do I want shabby shutter? I think I'm going to go with peel paint. It's a little darker. Okay, now I can call you Rebecca. Okay, thank you. All right. So we're going to get our colors down I am going to turn away again. I want to hit these with my heat tool. Here I'm just getting rid of the water droplets that are sitting on the page because I'm about to put green and red together. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that these aren't going to bleed together. And I'm going to do that to the second panel as well. All right, and we're going to do the same thing on this. Okay, we're going to add our water. Down, up. And now we have our green. And this is going to be the last color that I'm going to add to these two panels. What I'm going to show what you can also do with ink smushing, oh, I really like that, is you can put down more than one color at once. And it does make a really cool effect. Just going to pick up all that green. All right. I know we're not in autumn, and I don't want to rush us to get to autumn. Okay. But I'm going to use autumnish colors. Now I've got to find, where did I put that? I don't think that was the one that I wanted, but we're going to go with it. Let me grab one more. So these are kind of my go-to autumn colors. And these are pretty close. Christy Werner got me into these colors. She did that. Hello, Kim. How are you? I have a deep red. I have the best red ever. Ground espresso, fossilized amber, and villainous potion. So I'm also going to be pulling in forest moss. So these two go to the side, because you're going to see we're not done with these panels, especially those other two as well. We're going to keep building on them. So when it comes to these, what we can do, no, I want that forest to come in, I want the brown to go out, is we're going to make an X that comes in. Did everyone just see me do that? Okay, let's try this again. Like an X formation. Wow, okay. I'm having way too much fun here. So you can see I'm just kind of pulling in and creating this X form. Now, do you have to do the X form? Absolutely not. You can do this any way you want. I'm just pulling in these colors. And I am going to use 2 pieces of paper because your second print is always going to be better than your first print. It's like pancakes. The first pancakes, they look horrible. They're still good. They just don't look right. The next pancakes, they start to look perfect. So we're going to add the water. And we're going to go down. We're going to go down and we're going to come up. So now we have these splotches. Now I'm going to come in with my finger, mainly my nail, and I'm just going to swirl. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go down and we're going to come back up. Down and we're coming back up. So now you can even see those swirls with my finger. We're going to come in with more ink, but we're going to put it in different sides. I do not worry when I'm doing something like this because I'm not removing any of the colors of the inks contaminating my other colors. The only one that I will worry about is my fossilized amber. And if you notice, I kept it out of the purple and the red and all of that. And with Lumberjack, go light-handed because it is a very strong color. Now I'm going to add just a little bit more water. And I am going to dry these. So I'm going to turn again and dry. All right. I'm going to come in with the second one, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go down, and we're going to come back up. Down, up. And see how it's filling in? Whenever you do ink smooshing, you always do it in pairs. Do it in groups, because then you can fill in all of your sections when it comes to it. Like I want the edge filled in just a little bit more. So I'm just tapping down that edge. You can see the yellow and the purple are we're still wet, but I'm getting a little bit of brown, but not too much. You can see the yellows pushing away that purple, which is awesome, which is what we're looking for. Same thing here. And we're going to let this one alone. I think that one, we've hit the mark on that one. At least that's where I want that to go. When it comes to this, I wonder what this would look like if I put that on top. Not that one. Yeah, that one. Let's see. Not bad. You don't want to overwork your pieces. Just want to have fun with it. There's always lots of paper. All right. I like to, once I have my bases, so these are my bases. And this is what we created so far. We have these 4. So we definitely have a stronger fallish type vibe. But I did that to show you that you can have these different colors. Hey, Gwen. We can have all of these colors together. As long as you dry in between, because this has the yellow, it has the purple. We have the reds, we have the greens. And you can see I don't have too much what we refer to as mud when it comes to that. Just dry, 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 or just let it dry. So I'm going to try to gab here just a little bit because I really like the way that these are molding. I love, that's what I love, these difference, these harsh lines that come in like that there too. It does it on its own. That's what I love about watercolors too. You know, just put down some water, drop a little bit of the pigment in, and it just goes. It's awesome when things do it themselves. Yes, that's what I'm all about. Yes, absolutely. Let's see here, making sure don't have any questions. Oh, Kim, you've been watching my journal videos. Yes. Are you talking about the book one for Sabrina? Because that one is heading to its new home as we speak. I had a lot of fun with that. Oh, and I have some heads up that I'll be showing you too. So these are our panels. They're a lot of fun, very therapeutic, but we don't have to stop there. And again, you don't just have to do ink smushing. I just love, you know, it's like those ink blots that we do. Okay, the book one. Yeah, that one. That was a lot of die cutting. I could not list die cutting as a choice for today. I'm just saying. Because, wow. Between the die cutting for that journal, I did the flip through on the 30th. And then the die cutting that I did for the double frame pop-up book. I don't know if my die cutter's my friend right now. I believe he's shying away from me and has hidden himself in my room. Yeah, he went full bore. You do not have to just ink smush. You can add so much more, and you don't have to keep putting more and more layers on this. And I'm going to show that. Let me real quick grab a glass of water. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to put my water off to the side here. So just, you know, not water to drink. I'm going to move my iced tea because a brush will end up in my iced tea. Yes. Okay. Whenever I do panels like this, I'll continue. So when we have these, I'm going to set these like this. And on this side, I'm going to put ground espresso. And I'm really going to push that down. And I'm going to put aged mahogany. And I'm going to add a couple other things that I can't find. So we improvise. I am also going to put down This is a pearlescent watercolor. And yes, it is a watercolor. It's a liquid watercolor. I'm going to put down some white acrylic paint. And I'm going to put down what's a little inky iced tea. Don't think I haven't done it to my coffee. Oh, Cordelia. Yes, that is the fun process of our craft rooms, our crafty spaces. It's just, my husband just walks away often. Okay, so I grabbed my perfect pearls too because I couldn't find my gold, and I'm just going to add a little bit of water to that. And I have my favorite brush, and I'm going to grab a backdrop, meaning just a piece of cardboard that I'm going to put up in front so that the splatters don't go everywhere, because we are going to splatter. I love splattering. I believe splatters are the main part of, and should be the focal part of any design. My soda is so glittery. Oh my goodness. Oh, Cordelia, you did get the corner bookmarks. They are so cute. Either whether you get the add-ons or even if you just get the one set, it is so cute. All right, so here we go. We are going to pull in all of our pieces except the one. So we're just going to work on these three because I can't get them all in. So we're going to mix this up, and we're going to just start splattering. Just go to town. Don't even think about it. Just get it down on your paper. Don't care if they're big splatters. We're going to let it go. We're going to sing the song. just have fun with it. What you can also use to splatter. Now, I'm using Distress Oxides. I'm using a watercolor. I'm using acrylic paint. I'm using Perfect Pearls. But one of the best things to splatter with is water. And I do this in between and after. Just get water on there. Clean water. Now we're going to go back. I'm going to add in this deep burgundy now. Don't worry about the size of the splatters. Just let them go. Now we're going to add in this pearlescent. I tinted it just a little bit because I didn't clean my brush all the way, but that's okay. We're going to add a little bit more water to that because that's really thick. You always, when you splatter, you do want to have like a cream. Consistency. So this is a different type of lizard that's coming in. Now I am going to come in with a piece of paper towel because I've got a big puddle going on here. I'm just going to tap into it. Just tap. I don't want to take all the water away because it's all giving an effect. You know, Cordy, I usually do have an extremely large mug that I use with a lid. I left it in work. Yeah. Now I'm going to come in with the gold. And that's just getting plopped right down. There we go. Oh, you got the set with the raccoon. Yeah, he was cute. I think they were, yeah, they were the woodland creature. That means I think you got the fox too. And then our last color we're going in with is our white acrylic. Now this could be, you can use gouache, you can use, you know, anything you want when it comes to your white. I'm just going to pick up that little bit of gold in there too. And now we're just going to go to town with this. Now, because everything is so wet, this white is really not going to stand out. And I'm not looking for it to stand out. I'm looking for it to do those blends, to merge into all of these colors and to just create these flecks. Because you can see it's filling up everything that we're doing. It's filling up our page, and we're not losing our colors. We're not losing our purples and our reds and our yellows. We are just not losing them. Then to use up all of this stuff, I just start mixing all of the colors together. Yep, even the browns. And then I'll just start going to town. And if I see like there's some white spaces, I'll start going heavy in that area to just get these colors in. But you can see we're sticking with all the same colors, so we're not introducing something new, even though I've mixed them up. And then our final is we come in with more water. Yep, more water. And just letting that go. And those are the backgrounds. With just inks. With just inks that you have, you can create a background that has texture and depth and just this. Some people will say this is grungy, and it is. I mean, it does have grungy, but it doesn't look as grungy as what it could be because I didn't use the blacks and the browns and the, you know, the deep golds and everything else. But this would make a great background for a card. Add a sentiment, boom, you are done. You can put a map behind it and just have fun with that. We used the same colors mainly for these two, and then we used like festive berries instead of the lumberjack. We use festive berries over here, but basically the same colors, but we have 3 completely different looks. And you did the same thing. All ink smushed and splattered. Remember, use your dye inks for your splattering. It's awesome. White acrylic paint is perfect for splattering. You don't have to have a gouache. You don't have to have, you know, I love the PH Martin's bleed proof. Absolutely love it. But you know what? Colors bleed through it. I'm just saying. White acrylic paint. It's less expensive. Absolutely less expensive. Okay, so there's things that you can do, and just by doing all of these flecks, you're getting these different colors, these different ways. Hey, Sala, how are you doing? Oh, I love what she called it. She called it a rainbow mess. Yes, this is our rainbow mess. who doesn't do this technique at all. I have to try. Jean, you have to give it a try. Just give it a try. And it may not be for you, but you know what, Jean? That's okay. But, you know, it's every time I say that, when I say, you know, you may not like it, it may not be for you, I hear my grandmother. Because I was one, yeah, and I'm sure you all will not be able to believe this, but I was a child that was very defiant. I'm just saying. I know, shocking, right? Very defiant. You know, I respected rules. I just didn't want to follow them. You know, even then when I was young, I wanted to push the boundaries and see how far we could go. I hear her saying, well, if you don't try it, how do you know if you're going to like it or not? And, you know, she's right. She's right. And you don't have to do it on a grand scale. I mean, this is a grand scale. This is huge. So you don't have to do that. Now we're going to continue, and I'm going to use this one. I kind of, you know, left this one alone just a little bit because I wanted it to dry. I wanted one of my panels to dry for you. So I'm going to set these aside because we're going to do something else. Because again, remember, I had asked in a poll what everyone wanted me to do. So we did our backgrounds, right? Right. We did our backgrounds. I've just got to find my desk just a little bit here. or my space. So I just got to do some cleaning. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can add colored pencils on top of ink smooshing. So we're going to get the best of both worlds. And I know I keep bending down here. So hang on. Almost done. Okay, maybe not. Things just keep popping up here. Oh my goodness. All right. I will have to rearrange those later. I'm going to set these aside. So that they can dry. And by the time we're done, we'll be able to see these when we're done. All dried. And I'm going to grab that paper towel and I'm going to pick all this stuff up. There we go. And we're going to let that dry. And I always just like crumble it up and let that dry. And we need paper towel. Alrighty, so how can we add colored pencils to our ink smush? Very easily. With stencils. We can do that with stencils, believe it or not. I'm going to hit this with my heat tool. I'm going to turn around again. All right. So we're just going to turn this and roll it. Just roll your paper when you've got all of that. And it gets somewhat flat. Right? Right. Now, the colored pencils I'm going to use, I think this is a great set if you're starting out. These are by Arteza. I don't know if they even still have these. I have had these for like a couple of years. But they are great containers, 48, great colors in there. I think they work great. I don't know if everyone knows, I love colored pencils. Colored pencils are my choice for coloring mediums. All right, and I've pulled out just a couple stencils. Of course, I pulled out my grunge. Had to pull out my grunge. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, I like that one. I think we'll do that one. What do you think? These are great stencils as well. I think these are by, oh, and she just, Delusions. She does Delusions. Her name just went right out of my head. But they're just great graphic, geometric designs, and I lost half of them. There we go. Geometric designs for quick designs going in there. But we're going to do this one. So let's see. Dina Wakely, it's Diane Reevely. So there's, I cross those names all the time. So Dina Wakely has her own line as well. She's not Delusions. Diane's Delusions. I like Dina's gloss sprays. They are awesome. Her gloss sprays are just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. All right. So I'm just going to work on a section of this, and I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to bring this up into the corner here. And I am going to tape it down. This is just regular, everyday painter's tape. And I'm going to tape this down to my piece as well. I want to make sure that I'm hitting that corner and that I'm hitting this corner. And then I'm going to turn these over to the back. So now I know it'll stay in place. Now you can do this two ways. You can take your colored pencil and you can actually draw in each of these. That would be mind-numbing for me. Just thought I'd say. Completely mind-numbing. What I am going to do, though, guys, you know me. You just know me. I'm going to take a pale gray, and I'm going to use flannel, and a dauber. And I'm going to apply this through the stencil. I want to work it into my dauber here. All right. You know what? I think I'm going to use a blending brush. You were all screaming blending brush, weren't you? I heard you. Hang on, guys. Can you feed him? Oh, really? Thank you. Yes. Speaking with my husband, needed to feed the cat. Okay. And you know this one's going to be too small too. All right. Got the big one. Here we go. Lord. And I'm going to go over the piece lightly, just lightly, but I want to see the design that's coming through. I want to see these elements. I'm not looking for it to be perfect. I don't want it to be too dark, but I do want it to come down so that I can see all the lines. So I'm going to lift that up and I can see it. So can you guys see that? It's awesome. If you all right, now I'm going to take my stencil off because that's all I want to do. No, you want, yeah, that's all I want to do. And I am going to take this down to the bottom. And we're going to do the same thing with the other pattern. And again, we're just going to tape it down. And we're going to come up. And if we lift it up, we can see that as well. All right. Very faint. Hardly can see it. But, I mean, you can see it, but that's okay. So I'm going to choose my color. So I've got reds and yellows and golds. So I'm just going to choose some colors here. And then for the bottom, I'm going to choose some blues and purples because we can. And again, I am just grabbing colors. There's no, that's not a purple. There's no rhyme or reason. We don't need to have that. And we always got to have a white. Always pull out your white. Your white is always the color of choice. And indigo. All right. So now what we can do is just follow the pattern. We can take our colored pencil and lightly go over the ink. If we do this in small circles, you can get that coverage of the pattern. And it doesn't take a lot of time. Now, again, you could sit there and trace through the stencil. Again, to me, a little mind-numbing. This, to me, is quicker and faster. Now, your key to colored pencils, the absolute key is it does not take a lot of pressure. You don't want to, right off the bat, just charge right in. What helps is if you take your hand far away from where the pigment is, the point, and work the pencil that way, you will not have a lot of pressure. And you can see how fast this is going. And all I'm doing is lightly coloring this. Now, if you want to add some shading, you already have the base of your color down. As long as you go light with your color, you will be able to add layer after layer. It's the other reason why I also chose mixed media paper. It's got texture. When you use colored pencils, you want to make sure that the paper that you're putting the pencils on have what we call a tooth. That means texture. That they have this rough surface so that the pigment from the pencil can leave the pencil. I know, and it's all beautiful work. Absolutely gorgeous work when people color on cardstock. That is tough for me because it's too smooth of a surface. I don't have enough tooth to get the blends that I'm looking for. So I'll shy away from using them. Doesn't mean you can't. It's just something that I shy away from when it comes to this. All right, Casey, have a good day. Yes, watch the replay because I'm going to show some other things that I've been working on and try to have fun cleaning. I don't know if that's possible, but I think it is. So now I'm just going to come in with a darker color and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm only going to do it to one side. And then that'll help give the blend, if you want the blend. And again, it's not a lot of pressure. You don't want to go in full bore because then you won't be able to layer anymore. And you can see I'm not being precise with it. I'm just getting the color in there and showing how to bring out that shade. And again, this is mixed media. We're not making a Picasso here. So not making a Picasso here. When it comes to blending, do not be scared of those super darks. You could use black on this and you'll get beautiful blends. You want those scary darks to come in because that is what will help achieve that look that you're looking for. And there you go. So what the light gray is doing is just helping you. It's like no line coloring. That's what that is. It's like your no line coloring. Now I'm actually really liking this color pattern. So I think I'm going to continue with it. I'm going over all of the inks that we have down. Your colored pencils will go over your inks, just like your dye ink for the stencil did. And eventually, as the stencil smooths out and disappears, I'm going to go lighter and lighter when it comes to that colored pencil. And you can see it's just pulling out that color. And again, this is not, you can see how fast this can go because it doesn't have to be precise. Now, what's great is as we get into these different colors, the color of the colored pencil will change. So you can see now it's not as maroon here. It's going into a different value as we get into those different colors, which I think that's what really pulls out the design. And I'm going to let that one fade right out. So again, this is just a different way to use all of these different supplies. Now, do you have to have Arteza color pencils? No. Crayola colored pencils are awesome. I think they're great. I think they're very good to use. And you can get some great big sets at awesome prices. And what's funny is Crayola actually has different levels for their colored pencils. You know, the everyday yellow and green box. Perfect. Perfect for it. And you can see now we're just getting into the heart of where we did all of the ink smushing. And again, now, even though I have this gray here, you can stomp. You don't have to color every single spot up either, because the gray will just help all of this to fade out. So no coloring skills, no nothing. Just have fun with it. You can choose just to do the circle. Like I'm going to look at the pattern here, and I think I'm going to stop with that point right there. The dots are coming through from the ink blending. And there you go. So you just have that touch. Now you can continue in it down here. Here's where we added a little bit more shading. Here, if we add in our different colors, as I just whoo right across that. So here we could go in with a really pale blue. And again, I'm just following that stencil, little circles, and then come in with a darker color at the bottom. And you can see I'm just circling. It's nothing precise. You're just accenting what that is, because the gray is always going to stay there. This is not a fade out gray or a no line ink. I know Ink on 3, they make the best fade out ink, but you don't want to use that here. You want to use a very light gray for this color, because then it'll just continue with the pattern. And again, nothing specific. You see? I like Jean. I see the First I did natural pencils that I had to have it and use like once, no luck on anything because I don't have any. Okay. Jean. You don't need coloring skills. And those sets that you have are wonderful. They are absolutely wonderful. They are an excellent set. Their watercolor pencils are good as well. Very good. I actually just gave those to my sister because they needed love and she needed color pencils. And I'm like, okay, well, I got stuff for you. We can get you into colored pencils. We'll get you there. So see? It's just a different way to use things that we have, because let's face it, you know, I did this, you know, as I was going through this world of, you know, paper crafting and really getting involved in it and really starting to like it and all of that. Yep, I had to have everything. Had to have everything. So once I did that, it took me a while to get over the whole, okay, mine's not looking like theirs and all of that. And once I finally did, kind of found myself, kind of found that, okay, you know what, here's my style, here's what I like doing, and all of that. You will do that, but you'll also, along the way, find different ways to use the supply. So I'm glad I have all the stuff that I do, because now I just find a lot of different ways to incorporate it into so many different things. I know I don't use or do traditional styles, you know, even in card making, which, you know, can sometimes throw people off, but, you know, that's okay. So see? So now we have this coming down and we have that going up. And all you're doing is using a stencil and a light gray. You want a pale gray ink, because these can be left alone and they're still coming across. So you're adding these two different things. We can cut this panel in half and we have, you know, multiple panels for our cards. Because remember, I like the larger size cards when it comes to that. Okay? Let's see, let me make sure there's... Cordelia, it does. It just... And you can see how fast, again, there's no, let me see if I can bring this up here. So looking at this one right here, all I'm doing is taking my pencil so lightly, and because we use the gray, it's going to do a lot of the filling in, and that's all I'm doing. I'm just putting down a little bit of color. It's nothing perfect. And then I'm coming in with a darker shade and just, you know, lightly coming in along the bottom. Boop. I hope you all were able to see that. I don't have, I film from my phone, so I don't have the mechanism that I can zoom in and zoom out. And when I use my fingers, oh, y'all get sick. Yeah, and I don't want y'all to get sick. So I hope, you know, you can kind of see, you can pick and choose which ones you want to do as well. Now, Jean, this is something that you could possibly try with your pencils to get a stencil, you know, to get your stencil, put that stencil down, put that ink down, and then bring in those colored pencils. That will help with gaining of the confidence that I can do this, because I know you can. I know you can. But that would be able to help you build up on those strengths. Okay, so I'm going to continue, but first I wanted to show you a couple things. So I want these, and I want these, and I want this one. And I may use my white. All the rest of the colors we're not going to use. So I'm going to put those away. So on the last, we're going to come back to this real quick. So on the last live, I had made mention of Creep on June. So Creep on June is like Christmas in July, except not. you know, it's creepy. And again, it's not for everyone. All right, I know that. I love Halloween and I love creepy Halloween. I don't like horror films. No, no, no. But I love Halloween. Um, so here I'm not part of the collaboration that's going on with Creep on June, but bits and pieces of this are going to be shown throughout the month of June. Not the whole thing though. Okay. Um, Now it just launched today. So every day, if you go to Tracy's website, so go to the last week live and you'll see the links. You'll be able to click on the tiles and see a collaborator each day. Now again, they're at different time zones. So the video may not come out the same exact time. So each one's doing something different on this. So it's this whole project. So what I've done is I'm doing mine in journal form, but it's going to be a different style of journal, like always. So this is going to be the second signature. So ripped pages. I'm still ripping my pages. Some vellum is going on in here. An evidence bag is going on here. A cluster of envelopes. All right, so that's the first signature. And then in the center is this file folder that's going to be sewn in. So I've got to glue all of this down. This is my file folder, the case folder of the Craftly haul. So that's going to sit in between the two signatures. And then here's the first signature. Very similar to the first one. Lots of different pages and all of that. Here's the journal that I have finished. It's going to be a hardbound, again, with a hidden spine. And what that means is these will be sewn on a piece of chipboard, and then the chipboard is glued down onto this spine so that you don't see the sewing on the outside. So here I chose 2 of her papers, flipped them. I've got lace for pockets in the front, and then the back, I did this in black cardstock, and then I don't know if you can see, I used the matte black opaque paste in the distress line. Love it. And then I used the same stencil we used today, actually. So here's, it's right there. And I used it there. And then a couple of his flourish ones around here. So I don't know what I'm going to put on the outside, but there's going to be lots of chains and everything else coming off that. So that's the start of that. So stay tuned. Again, we're not going to see the entire journal being put together, but you'll see the majority of it when it comes to it. So there's lots of tags and folders and everything else, and they're going to be embedded for each day, and each day represents a part of the story. So, kind of, yes, Gwen, that is black lace down here. I found like a whole roll of it, if that's what you were talking about. If you're asking about the outside, that is paste. The black opaque textured paste. It's absolutely awesome. Fell in love with it. And then I sewed around each of these panels before I set them into the book. I just haven't figured out how it's going to be fully decorated and all of that fun stuff. And I know, only bits and pieces are going to be shown. The other thing that I've been working on is a friend of mine at work got married, and they got married in Greece. So here, this is the first time I've ever done a 5 signature album. Me too, Jean. I used to have fishnet stockings. Did you have those? Yep. Oh, Jean, I went through a goth period. Well, I'm still in the goth steampunk period, but it's not as bad. So yeah, I'm with you. But yeah, this is um a 5 signature. I've never done a 5 signature. So oh yeah, this was fun. Um so again, hardbound, because it's 5 signatures. And again, it's kind of the sort of the same concept here. We've got lace pocket. I put a piece of lace down behind. Again, this is a hidden spine. So here's that chipboard. Like I showed the very first time. Was it the first time or the third time that I went live? Because I know what I did on the second time I went live. Again, it's on that piece of chipboard, but I covered that with cardstock or with pattern, the digital print, and then sewed around that as well. And then I have that there. There's like 2 or 3 different digital kits that I'm using throughout this. Again, loving the torn pages. I finally, a friend of mine that I met through my YouTube channel, she had one of those those books. I forget what they're called now, and it's not near me. I finally broke into it. It took me forever. And in each section, there's going to be a envelope cluster that just keeps folding out. So you'll see some of the ephemera for these pieces being made and all of that. So lots of chunkiness going on here. But yeah, first time, my ring is caught on the thing. There we go. First time 5 signature. And again, you'll see bits and pieces of that, like you did with all of that. Let's see here. Let's see, Kim, how you get your signature sewn on, lined up. It's a challenge. Yes, but we have a trick. There is a trick to do that. Absolutely. So, you know, guys, you know me. I am one, I do not plan. So those are the 2 journals. But again, you're not going to see every bits and pieces, which at the end of this, I'm going to have an announcement when it comes to that concept. So I am not one that is, and Cordelia, I need to see pictures. We need to figure that out. And I figured out how we're going to be able to do this. Anyway, I am not one that measures, I mean, come on. Here we go. I love, and it's not messy. It's just organic. It's absolutely organic. We were precise when we put our colors down. We were having fun as we were splattering all over the place, and we were being strategic when we splattered. So there is some thought process when we do these. And these are pretty dry, and you can see how they look. You can see how the white pushed out some of these colors and how the water just opens it up. These are awesome. These would be great for leaf dyes. Think about a leaf dye. I'm not pulling out a leaf dye and going around it with some, yes, vintage photo. Absolutely. These would be great for that. But we were strategic with this. When it comes to card making, I am not. I don't mind if I go a little crooked. I don't mind if it's a little wonky. I don't mind if I'm not in a straight line. And that's just me. And it took me a long time to get to that point. Trust me. It was a challenge to do that. But that's what I do for card making. I love layers and die cutting and turning it into, the card needs to be that piece that person's going to keep up on their mantle, because we put so much time into our cards. And that's how I look at it. I want that piece to be passed down for generations. I know it's not. But wouldn't it be awesome? I mean, to think about that. And that's how we should look at what you're creating. This is something that could be passed down for generations. So I don't measure when it comes to the cards. I just have fun cutting it. That's why I do enjoy my Simplicity series too. And Gwen, did you notice the Simplicity series came back? Just saying. But when it comes to a journal, whether it's a sewn journal or whether it's a scrapbook album, yes, I actually slow down and breathe. And I have to say, okay, we have to do this in steps. We've got to first do this, and then we have to map out this, and then we need to figure out this. For a sewn journal, you do that when it comes to sewing in multiple signatures. You don't have to do that when filling it, when doing one signature. There's no thought process, just have fun with it. But when you're doing, 2, 3, up to 5, even more, yes, we got to slow down. And that's the part where you've got to, and the cover. You're like, okay, I've got to do this first before I do this, and I've got to do this first before I do that, and I have to do this section first before I do any of the other sections. It's a process. Scrapbook albums are worse. And not worse bad, but worse that, okay, you've really got to map it out. I mean, with a scrapbook album, I have templates. I do prototypes of the pages first so that I know what I'm doing and mapping it out before I even start cutting. So, yeah. And there's tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. So, Kim, I will show you those at some point. Absolutely. The other thing that I'm in the process of doing is, I'm going to go back and continue to color these in because these were fun, is there is a community that I'm going to be creating. I started building it now. Now, this is going to be a different community. I mean, they're all different. Don't get me wrong. And what I mean by that is the community that I'm creating is going to be for Zentangle. It's going to be for journals. It's going to be for scrapbook albums. It's going to be for scrapbook journal albums. It's not really going to have cards. My cards are going to definitely stay here. What the community is going to be on the more involved. So the journal. Let's talk about the journals. So a journal, yes, I can do a video series on a journal, and I've done that. Even though I've done that, I can't show all of it. If I did that, I would be showing many hours of that journal. And something, is not shown and all of that. And that's fine. I mean, it's good. I mean, people ask me questions, I'll answer the questions and so forth. So what this community is going to do is when it focuses on that, every month there's going to be a journal that is focused on from start to finish. The videos are going to either be live sessions like this. I'm still keeping my lives here every Saturday. Or they're going to be recorded lives where, I'm talking through it like some of my videos on my channel have been going. But you're going to have the full detail. So it's going to be that type of process when it comes to the videos as if you're taking a class, an in-person class. Now that, of course, is not the only thing that I'm going to be showing throughout the month. You'll have that detail project throughout the month. There will also be a Zentangle project within the month. There will be downloads when it comes to either Zentangle or the journals, and everything. So pretty much what it's going to be is your classroom. It's going to be an extremely finely detailed classroom. And you will be able to have access to all of those tutorials instead of paying for individual tutorials. Now, if you want to do that, I do have the individual tutorials available and will always be available within that site as well. So that's what I'm kind of in the process of creating. Is this going to be astronomical in price? No. No, I could never do that. Let's see. Yeah, I want to see that trick, Kim. I promise you, I will give you the trick. Visiting South Levy. It's always just drinking less now than I did before. I know I have a branch count. Untangle now. And it's an art class on. Sounds like a fun school. Sala, that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be a school, and it's going to be the students' school. It's all about for somebody to break out and to have fun. But again, it's not focusing on cards. It's focusing on the journals, the Zentangle, the different things that you can do outside of card making. So my YouTube channel is going to be primarily card making. It'll continue to have the simplicity. I'm going to continue to have the Sunday Zen, where, you know, I don't talk through that. You know, some people may enjoy that. It's going to continue to have some of the journals, but it's not going to have the detailed. So all of these big projects that I've been showing, they are going to sit in the school. It is going to be a monthly membership, but nowhere near. So there's a course. Okay, I'm really liking this. There's a course that, so like I have Zentangle introduction course, and I have a couple others up on my channel. The introduction, if I'm not mistaken, is 44 something. Okay, that's just for one course. For the courses that are going to be in the community, you're getting all of these different courses, and we're focusing on one project for each side of that. And there'll be lives in there and all of that stuff. You're looking at almost half the cost of that one course per month. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm still building it because I also want interaction. I know Cordelia has been making this journal that I started. She's been doing it with me, and darn it, I want a way to see it. And this is that way to see it. you know, to possibly have this means and have that ability for somebody to reach out and say, hey, I have this question. All right, so there's that corner there. So I think that looks really cool. Again, and it adds another layer of texture on that. So that is something that's coming. I'm really excited about it. Very much so. I am excited about it. Because I love to teach. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right. No, Sala, I have not mentioned the platform of where this is going to sit. It's not going to sit on YouTube. It's not going to be a membership there. Oh, and by the way, there's not going to be different levels. It's one price. Everyone will have access to everything. No need to worry about this. No need to worry about this. I am considering to have a, so there'll be a monthly paid, and then there'll be a free. And the free is where people can upload photos. So like, Cordelia, I'm going to use you as an example, if you don't mind. I'm so sorry. So I'm going to apologize now. If you're saying no, don't. So let's say Cordelia doesn't want to be a member of the school, but she knows I want to see this journal. She'll be able to do that upload and show me that journal that she did, and be able to ask questions if she has any questions. No, I won't be able to dive deep into full detail like I would in the school, but you guys know me. I'm going to do, I made my husband look at it last night. I do that to my husband all the time. He just loves it. Yes. Yes. And he knows when he's getting on my nerves because I say, hon, you want to craft with me? He knows. And then he walks out of the room. So yeah. So again, I want to be able to see that, because there's still going to be some journal videos on my YouTube. There's still going to be some of those things, you know, ephemeras and everything else, because when we do the lives and when we do this and all of that stuff, I mean, I'm going to still be working on those things. It's just those in the school, it's just more in depth. It's almost, you know, like what I did here, but deeper when it comes to all of that. Some of the videos that I do that are pre-recorded are going to be available for one-off purchases. You know, again, maybe you don't want to be a member and have that monthly fee, but let's say we had colored pencils for the entire month of July and went into true detail of what that was. Certain segments of the pre-recorded that I'm doing that would be in the main course that would be available as well on the platform that I have for a one set fee. And then you purchase that course, that's what you would have access to, and boom, you're done. And you'd have lifetime access, or as long as, you know, God lets me harass people, you know, when it comes to that. So that's what I'm trying to, or thinking about putting together. Again, I want as many people that I can to come join me, but I also respect our restraints that we do have. So, but I still want to see, I still want to know that, hey, yeah, that looks awesome. That's great. You know, and if you have that one question, boom, we've got that. I just don't think I can get that full blown of what I'm looking for when it comes to YouTube. Don't get me wrong. I love YouTube though. Absolutely love it here, because I've learned lives, and I've gotten it down. I've gotten it down. Well, now, Sala, that's what we use our coffee grounds for, is coffee dyeing our paper. And when we make a full pot and we know we're only drinking 1 cup, that's what the balance is. Absolutely. Yeah, we switched over to a Keurig, so now I'm very upset. because I don't have that pot of coffee anymore. I've got to, you know, heat water up, add coffee to it, and all that fun stuff. So yeah, yes, yes, yes. So that's what's coming down the pike. When is it launching? Probably not until the fall, so that I can have time to put that together. Okay, guys, here are, I gave you a little hint into the projects that we're doing. And also note, some of the journals that you see too, they are available. I put them up on my website as well. So I'll always accept that 5 signature one. That won't. That's a gift. That is a gift. You know, you're right, Sala. It would be awesome to see pictures of what others working. Like if somebody's, like if one of you guys are sitting at your table and and you were crafting along, you know, you got your dye inks out and you're starting to, you know, just to hit that, to be able to have some voice, you know, voice coming through or pictures coming through. Oh my God, I would absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. To just see what you guys are creating, because we're all going to do it differently. We may use the same techniques, we may use the same inks, we are going to do the same things, but each one is going to be different. We're going to use a different, somebody's going to use a different color, or somebody's going to use that different stencil, or do something different with that stencil, or maybe they use different colored inks, and when they add the colored pencils, that's what's creating the darker color. It's not the ink, it's the colored pencil that's adding that shading into the crevices. It's endless of what people could absolutely come out with. And I love that. I absolutely love it, but I can't see it. And it's tough with Zoom. You know, yes, we have that platform as well, but you're limited. You know, your Zoom is limiting when it comes to, you know, the number of people and all of that. And when I feel something's limiting, nope, I can't do it, because everyone needs the opportunity to have the choice and the ability to take a class or be involved in a crafty session. We should not have to limit ourselves and only say, okay, well, only this number of people can come in, because unfortunately platforms, they cost money. And unfortunately, when you go over a certain number in Zoom, you got to pay more, and it's just not cheap. So let's see. Looking to make sure that there's no questions or anything else. Thank you, Gwen. I hope it does sound interesting. Again, it's going to be, you know, Sala said it best. It's going to be that art school where you're going to see something from start to finish, no matter what that is. And it's just focusing on the bigger projects. These are the projects that I love. I love card making. I love card making. But I do gravitate to stuff like this, and journals and scrapbook albums, and how they can morph and grow and do all of those fun things. So, but these here are our panels. All right, you can see, and again, I'm just dabbing the little bit of water specks that are left. If I turn this, I don't know if the camera is catching the gold flecks, the pearlescent flecks from that pearl watercolor. It's a mess, but it's so cool. Absolutely cool. And if we take this would look awesome in a journal. Folded in half. I mean, that is just awesome. And then you have this side where you can journal on and just have a grand old time with it. This one here, if we cut this, and I didn't crease that, so if we cut this, and then I'll I'll let you all go to enjoy the rest of your day. So this piece measures, I forget, this is a 10 by 7. Well, look at that. 5 by 7. Here I come. So I'm going to cut this down to 5. And I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off here. So I'm taking this down to 4 3/4. And I'm going to have that same distance here. Four 3/4. Oh, look at that, 6 3/4. So we're going to do the same thing. 4 3/4. Four 3/4. Oh. My eyeballs did not fail me on that. And now we have 2 awesome panels for cards. And all we did, now again, I gabbed a lot through this, but these do not take long at all. Again, you've got just this perfect balance when it comes to your colors. Your sentiment can go right across here. The way that these are sitting, it looks like the splatters are coming in this way. You still have the sense of the 2 stencils, but here we've just made the stencil stick out more just with a little bit of color. A little bit of color from a colored pencil. Nothing fancy, no technique needed. Just get the color down, trace over the gray, and then keep the gray because then the gray just continues off into your project. Can't wait for June 5th to restart the work on my art journal with removable signatures. Oh, cool. That sounds awesome. Jean, I haven't gravitated towards this journal yet, though I like watching T and Dawn making theirs. And you know what? That's okay. Here's the beauty of it. So, you know, when I did that, what do you call it? A little bookish journal, the one for Sabrina. That was die cuts that we have in our stash. You could just say, okay, you know what? Journal's not for me, but I like the way she put that die cut together. I like the way she set that up on this. That would look great on a card. And that's what I also try to promote too. Okay, you may not like it in this style, but just look at that technique. Look at that technique and make it yours. Change it up. Do it how you see it and how you feel it. That's making me think floral. Yeah. There you go, Cordelia. Oh, Sala. Yeah. Sewing a journal in upside down is an awesome thing that happens. Yes. Yes. Have done it. Have done it many times. Yeah. My trick will help. Just saying. Yep. Yep. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, I had no idea what I wanted to do today, but I knew I wanted to do something. I enjoy coming here now on Saturdays, trying to keep it the same. People can get used to it. If I ever have to change or if I'm not going to be going live, I'll make an announcement in my community. So always keep an eye on that. I'll be using the community on the YouTube a lot more to make some announcements and all of that fun stuff. I do know that I will not be going live the weekend of June 14th. So that's the Friday. So either the 14th, 15th, or 16th. I will not be going live. I may be going live, though, sometime that following week. The week of the 17th, because I will be off. I will be off from work. I'm actually transitioning. So I'm leaving one job, going to another one. So I took a week off in between. So yay. But I hope you enjoyed this. Again, it's something different. Backgrounds and colored pencils were in a tie, neck and neck. So I'm like, okay, let's come up with a way that we can use both of these Both of these together. Jean, I'm glad you enjoyed the smooshing session. Have fun with it. You know, you can do it on a smaller scale. You don't have to do it as large as what I did. But I hope you have a great day. For those of you going to get rain, I'm so sorry. I hope it goes away soon. For those of you that see the sun, it is a beautiful thing to see the sun. Um, it's wonderful. I hope everyone continues. Stay safe, but most of all, continue to create your art. Continue to enjoy the process. That is what matters most. Always. Don't get frustrated. Don't get annoyed. Walk away from it and come back with it with fresh eyes. Trust me, you'll see something different. Very much so. For those of you that are just coming in, welcome. Yes, I'm about to sign off, but always catch me on the replay. I keep these up. And I hope everyone enjoys their day. Guys, take care. It was great talking with you all. Have fun, and I will see you next Saturday. Till then.